स्वरूप रूप कहाँ सनातन कहाँ दास रघुनाथ पतित पावन कहाँ दास रघुनाथ पतित पावन कहाँ मोर भट्ट जुगा कहाँ कबीरा कहाँ मोर भट्ट जुगा कहाँ कबीरा एक काले कोथा गेला गोरा नटरा एका काले कोथा गेला गोरा नटरा पाषाणे कुटीबो माथा अनले पशिबो पाषाणे कुटीबो माथा अनले पशिबो पाषाणे गौरांग गुणेर निधि कोथा गेले पाबो गौरांग गुणेर निधि कोथा गेले पाबो से सब संगीरा संगे जे कोई लो बीला से सब संगीरा संगे जे कोई लो बीला से संग न पाइया कांदे नरोत्तम से संग न पाइया कांदे नरोत्तम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur. Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrachatam Sahagana Raghunāthaन्वितं Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paśyatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratvashe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. So today is the auspicious disappearance day of three acharyas, Srila Raghunātha Gosvāmī, Srila Raghunātha Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī, and Srila Krishna Kaviraj Gosvāmī. So, of course, the lives of each of these acharyas itself is like a great ocean, but to speak within 15-20 minutes requires eloquence, which of course I don't have. But we'll try to speak something on each of these acharyas, some key pastimes along with some important lessons that we can learn. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to East Bengal, current Bangladesh, so at that time there was a devotee named Tapan Mishra who was reading a number of scriptures and meeting a number of spiritualists, trying to find out what is the goal of life and how to achieve it. So he tried a lot, but he was not satisfied. So one night, a Brahmin came in his dream and said that now in Bangladesh there is Nimai Pandit, and he is none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So you go to him and your questions will be answered. So the next day, Tapan Mishra goes to meet Nimai Pandit, and he reveals to him the dream that he had. And of course, Mahaprabhu tells him not to reveal this dream to anyone. By the mercy of the acharyas, we know about it. So, and Mahaprabhu told him that you simply chant the holy names. So this is the first time actually Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed, of course it's there in the Shastras, but as a direct instruction, for the first time Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Because till that point of time, Nimai Pandit was simply playing the role of a great grammarian, logician, scholar. So he had not yet manifested his pastimes as a devotee. And so therefore, this was the first time that he gave this instruction to chant the holy names, the Mahamantra, to Tapan Mishra, and he said that everything will be revealed by this chanting. And Tapan Mishra definitely understood that very soon Mahaprabhu would go to Navadvip, and there he would inaugurate the Harinam Sankirtan movement. And so Tapan Mishra was very eager to go to Navadvip. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Tapan Mishra that you go to Varanasi and you stay over there, and very soon I will come there. So following the instructions of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Tapan Mishra goes to Varanasi, as we know, which was the abode of Mayavadis. He was definitely not very happy to go there, but still on the instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he went there. And after some time, he had a small son. Later on, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after he took sannyas, then he traveled to Vrindavan, and on his way back from Vrindavan, he goes to Varanasi. And so when he goes to Varanasi, at that time there were only 3 devotees. There was Chandrasekhar, Tapan Mishra, and his son Raghunātha Bhaṭṭa. There were only these 3 devotees present. So Mahaprabhu goes over there and stays in the house of Chandrasekhar. But Tapan Mishra and his son would go to visit him. And the small boy, who was at that time maybe 8 or 9 years old, would serve Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, doing small menial services, serving him prasad and cleaning the place, massaging his lotus feet, like that. But because of the service that he rendered to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he had these very strong impressions, sanskaras, devotional sanskaras. And those remained with him. And that's how his devotional sentiments were aroused. So later on, Mahaprabhu left after some days. For 2 months he stayed in Varanasi. And then he left. He went back to Puri. Raghunātha Bhaṭṭa, he kept remembering his association with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so therefore, very important that small children are given good sanskaras by good association. Then that has a very long-lasting effect. So, Raghunātha Bhaṭṭa kept remembering Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his interactions with him. And so almost after 11 years, when he was about 20 years old, Raghunātha Bhaṭṭa, he travelled from Vrindavan to Jagannath Puri to meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And as he was travelling, he met one Ramdas Vishwas, who was continuously chanting the names of Lord Ram and speaking about the pastimes of Lord Ram. And Raghunātha Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī also was highly impressed. And not only that, he volunteered to carry Raghunātha Bhatt's bags. Even though he was only 20 years old, he was elderly. But Raghunātha Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī refused. But he said, no, I am born in a low-caste family, you're a Brahmana, so I should serve you. So in any case, both of them reached Jagannath Puri. When they reached Jagannath Puri, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very happy to meet Raghunātha Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī, embraced him. But he did not even look towards Ramdas Vishwas. So later on, Raghunātha Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī asked Mahaprabhu, why are you totally neglecting Ramdas? And Mahaprabhu says that he is continuously chanting the names of Lord Ram only to become Ram. So sometimes it's very difficult to detect Mayavadis because they also follow devotional principles, they also chant the holy names, they also appear to be very humble externally. But internally they have a desire to become the Supreme. So in any case, so Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he welcomed Raghunātha Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī, and Raghunātha Bhaṭṭa, he stayed in Puri for about 8 to 9 months. And it said that Raghunātha Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī, he was an excellent cook. And so he would cook very wonderfully so many different items for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, did many services. And after 8 to 9 months, Mahaprabhu told him, your father and mother are very wonderful devotees, they are very dear to me. Now they are old, so you go back to Varanasi and you serve them. And then after they leave this world, then you come back to Jagannath Puri. So therefore, on that instruction, Raghunātha Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī goes back to Varanasi. After about 4 years, the parents depart from this world, and Raghunātha Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī once again goes back to Jagannath Puri. There again for another 8-9 months he serves Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives him the instruction to go back to Vrindavan and join Rup and Sanatan and serve along with them. And in this way, Raghunātha Bhatta Goswami comes to Vrindavan. Rup, Sanatan and all the Goswamis, they're very happy to have his association. And so some of the important qualities of Raghunātha Bhatta Goswami, one, as we already said, he was an excellent cook. Second, he was very expert in reciting the verses of the Srimad Bhagavatam in a variety of melodies, different meters. And so he would sing very sweetly and speak on the Bhagavatam. And another very important quality which we can try to imbibe is he would never like to gossip. He would never like to either hear or speak the faults of other devotees. So even if there would be some faults in other devotees, he would say, it's okay, but at least they are serving, they're devotees, they're serving the Supreme Lord. That's most important. And so that's one of the qualities of the Uttamadhikari Mahabhagavat. As Rupa Goswami says in the Nectar of Instruction, Ninda ati shunya ridamipsata sangalapti. So no fault-finding tendency. That was a quality of Raghunātha Bhatta Goswami. And it's said that Raghunātha Bhatta Goswami, he also very much helped Rupa Goswami in the construction and the management of the Radha Govind temple. So in this way, he rendered various services to the Goswamis, and so these are some important qualities and contributions of Raghunātha Bhatta Goswami. Raghunath Das Goswami, he was the only son to Govardhan and Hiranya Mazumdar, two brothers who were extremely wealthy. They were landlords, zamindars with huge tracts of land, almost like a king. And they would collect taxes from the people. They would give a certain portion of that to the Muslim king, and then the rest they would keep. And so they were extremely rich. And Raghunath was the only son, that means the heir to this huge amount of wealth and property. But again, we see that, so Raghunath Das Goswami, he took his birth at Krishnapur, which was quite close to Chandrapur, where Haridas Thakur was staying and doing his bhajan, chanting 3 lakh names every day. And so his guru, Yadunandana-acharya, Balaramacharya, so they were like his family priests. So they would take him sometimes to meet Haridas Thakur. And so when he was very small, so again, the importance of good association. So just like Raghunātha Bhatta Goswami, when he was small, he had association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu directly. And Raghunath Das Goswami, when he was small, he had association of Haridas Thakur, again Mahabhagavat Vaishnav. And so when he met Haridas Thakur, he saw his great taste in chanting the holy names and his absolutely renounced life. He was simply living in different caves. So he was very much impressed with Haridas Thakur, and that's what he wanted to be. So everyone has their own heroes, isn't it? So some people want to be like Bollywood, Hollywood heroes. Some people want to be like scientists or whatever. So for Raghunath Das, Haridas Thakur, He was his hero. He wanted to become like that. And then later on, because Haridas Thakur, he had such great attachment to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so Raghunātha Das also developed that great attachment to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he developed that great eagerness and longing to serve him. So he once met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he was young. At that time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him, don't be a Markat Vairagi, go back to your home and be like a nice householder. So therefore, Raghunātha Das goes back to his house and he takes care of the family business and everything, and he was doing everything very meticulously. There are many pastimes in that connection, we're not getting into details. But he was very expert even in ordinary material affairs. So, in fact, Srila Prabhupada in his lectures, he gives Raghunātha Das Gosvāmī as an example of how a devotee should be daksha, expert in everything, including material affairs. So he was taking care of everything, and his father and mother and uncle, they were quite relieved, because till that point of time, Raghunātha Das was constantly making endeavors to run away from home, and they would have guards bring him back. But so they got him married to a very beautiful, chaste lady, and so he was taking care of all the household affairs. They were quite relieved. And then one day, Raghunātha Das hears that very close at Panihati, who came? Srila Nityananda Prabhu. And so he decides to go and meet Srila Nityananda Prabhu. And we know the very famous pastime that took place. What? Yes, the Panihati Chidadehi festival, which Nityananda Prabhu, of course, gave as a punishment to Raghunātha Das. Why he gave the punishment? So he said, you're a thief. Therefore, thief needs to be punished. So why did he call Raghunātha thief? Yes. So Nityananda Prabhu wanted to teach everyone the Siddhanta that one cannot approach the Supreme Lord directly without getting the mercy of the spiritual master and the Vaishnavas. That's the Siddhanta he wanted to teach. And therefore he said, you're like a thief because you're directly trying to steal the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so therefore he did this, conducted this wonderful festival and served all the Vaishnavas, and he was very pleased. And then Raghunath got the mercy of both Nityananda Prabhu and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He got the remnants of both of them. And then the next day, he begged for the blessings of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Sri Nityananda Prabhu blessed him that very soon he will achieve the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And after that pastime took place, then Raghunath went back to his home, but he never even went inside the house. He would sleep in the Durga Mandap, the courtyard. And he was waiting for a chance to run away from his home. And then one day, early in the morning, before sunrise, Yadunandan-acharya comes to his house and says that our family priest, somehow he has not come for his service, so please go and convince him, because he knew that Raghunath was very expert. So he tells him, go and convince him. So Raghunath says, okay, I'll go and tell him, you can go back. So he sends Yadunandan-acharya back to his house, and Raghunath thinks this is the best time to escape. And so that's how he runs away, goes through different forests so that the guards don't catch him. And his consciousness was fixed in reaching the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so He did not mind the austerities, the difficulties. It said in 12 days, he hardly ate 2-3 days. He was simply determined to reach Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu somehow. Good lesson for us to learn. So when one is fixed in one's goal, then one can overcome so many different obstacles and difficulties. Nothing matters. Vyavasayatmika buddhi. And so after 12 days, Raghunātha Das Gosvāmī, he reaches Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, reaches Jagannath Puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu meets him. Mahaprabhu is very happy to meet him, and he hands him over to his secretary, who? Shri Swarup Damodar Goswami. And he says, from now onwards, you'll be known as Swarupera Raghu. What's that? Swarupera Raghu. So, the Raghunātha Das of Swarup Damodar Goswami. And, of course, so many pastimes, he is father and uncle, they tried to find him. The party of Shivananda Sen, the devotees who would go yearly to Jagannath Puri. So they asked them to find out if Raghunātha is in Jagannath Puri. So anyway, so they came to know that he's over there. Then they send, his father sends some brahmanas, some 2-3 brahmanas and a lot of money. And Raghunātha Das Goswami, with that money, he would get Jagannath Mahaprasad and invite Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the sannyasis and feed them. He did that for about 2 years. After 2 years, he thought, oh, why should I take money from my materialistic father and feed Mahaprabhu? Then he stopped. And then Mahaprabhu asked his secretary, why has Raghunath stopped inviting for prasad? And then Swarup Damodar Goswami, he never asked, but he was so sharp that he even understood the mind of Raghunātha Das Goswami, and he reveals that to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hearing this, Mahaprabhu is very happy. And then later on, Raghunātha Das Goswami, he stands at the Simhadwar. And then as the pujaris, they would be leaving, then they would give some Mahaprasad. And then Raghunātha Das Goswami was thinking, oh, this is not very good. Because as I'm standing here and different people are coming, I'm thinking, oh, this person will give, this person is not giving, and so this mentality is not good. So he gave that up. And then he went to the prasadam booths where they would sell prasadam. And then at night, when some leftovers, which nobody would take, so those leftovers, that he would take, that he was taking. And after some days, he even stopped doing that. And then what he was doing? So the leftover prasadam, which would get stale and rotten, they would throw in the dustbin, and the cows would come and eat. And when the prasadam was so rotten, even the cows would not eat, they would spit it out. And that Raghunātha Das Goswami was taking, he was washing that, putting a little salt and eating. So of course, Raghunātha Das Goswami is our Prayojan-Acharya. What's our Prayojan? What's our Prayojan? Yes, Krishna Prem. So Raghunātha Das Goswami is our Prayojan-Acharya, and he's teaching us how we can achieve our Prayojan. By increasing levels of renunciation. Vairagya Vidya, Nija Bhakti Yoga. So, Mahaprabhu came to teach us Vairagya Vidya. But of course, this Vairagya is not like the Vairagya of the Mayavadis or the impersonalists. So our vairagya develops because of attachment to Krishna. So we are not simply dry renunciants trying to simply be austere for the sake of developing detachment. But the devotees, they want to become attached to Krishna, and by becoming attached to Krishna, they automatically become detached from the material world. So Raghunātha Gosvāmī, he was so attached to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and devotional service, he hardly cared about bodily needs and necessities. And so, therefore, he was taking this rotten rice and simply taking that. As Srila Prabhupada said, we can never imitate these Goswamis. Otherwise, forget about progress in devotional service, we won't even be able to practice devotional service. So we can't imitate, but we can learn the principle. And the essential principle that we have to learn is how a devotee is always very eager to increase his level and standard of devotional service. He is never complacent with his present level of devotional service. He is always trying to improve, increase the standard. That's the important lesson we learn. And so, Swarup Damodar Goswami, nobody knew that. Nobody knew what Raghunātha Das Goswami was eating. It was totally secret because at night he would go and just take that. Nobody knew it. He was not advertising it to show how renounced he is. But Swarup Damodar Goswami, he came to know, he told Mahaprabhu, and one day Mahaprabhu came to Raghunātha Das's place, and then he said, I've heard that you're eating something very tasty prasad. Why are you so selfish? Why not sharing with me? And so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes to where that rotten prasad was there, apparently rotten. He goes and snatches it, even though Raghunātha Das was trying to prevent him. He snatches it and he eats a handful. And Mahaprabhu says, I have tasted so many varieties of Jagannath Prasad, but never ever I have tasted something so wonderful. And he was going to take another handful, and Swarup Damodar Goswami stops him out. Enough. That's enough. So what was Mahaprabhu tasting? What? Yes. His renunciation, which was a manifestation of love. That was what he was tasting. And so Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so pleased with the devotional service of Raghunātha Das Goswami. Later on he offers him 2 gifts, a Gunjamala and a Govardhan Śrīla. So these 2 were very dear to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu would wear that Gunjamala and keep that Govardhan Śrīla on his chest, and he would weep tears of love. And so he gave these 2 very precious gifts to Raghunātha Das Goswami. And by getting the Gunjamala, Raghunātha Das Goswami felt he got the mercy of Sri Chaitanya, of Srimati Radharani. And by getting the Govardhan Śrīla, he felt he was blessed with eternal residence at Govardhan. And then later on, Raghunātha Das Goswami, after Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Swarup Damodar Goswami, they leave this world. At that time, in feelings of separation, Raghunātha Das Goswami, he came to Govardhan for jumping off from the top of Govardhan in feelings of separation. But Rupa and Sanatan came to know, and they said, no. You have had so much association of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. For how many years? About 16 years he had association. So they said, you please narrate to us all those wonderful pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so Raghunātha Das Goswami agrees. And so he stayed at Radhakund. And every day for about 3 hours, he would narrate these pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And also, many of the pastimes he got from the writings, the diary of Swarup Damodar Gosvāmī. And so he would narrate all those pastimes. And all the Goswamis were very happy to hear this nectar. And amongst the devotees present there, one of them was, who? Krishna's Kaviraj Gosvāmī. He was one of the devotees present there. And as he was hearing all these wonderful pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he also made notes of all those pastimes. So even Goswamis make notes. So what about us? We think that's for new people, right? New people. But even the Goswamis, they make notes. So that's how Krishna's Kaviraj Gosvāmī, he listened to all those pastimes. And as Vrindavan Das Thakur, he had already written the Chaitanya Bhagavat, initially known as Chaitanya Manga. But then because he thought the book would be too voluminous, therefore much of the later pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were not described in detail, and devotees were requesting Krishna's Kaviraj Gosvāmī to describe those pastimes in detail. And that's the reason why Krishna's Kaviraj Gosvāmī. Then, of course, he got instruction from Nityananda Prabhu. He was in Bengal, but he received instruction from Nityananda Prabhu to come to Vrindavan. And then when he came to Vrindavan, he was hearing all these pastimes. Krishna's Kaviraj Gosvāmī himself narrates this pastime in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, how he is begging for the mercy of all Vaishnavas, junior, senior, equal, everyone, all the Vaishnavas. He begs for blessings. And then finally he goes to which deity? Madan Mohan. He goes to the deity of Madan Mohan, and then when he goes over there, he has darshan, and as soon as he rises, the garland of Madan Mohan falls off, and the pujari gives the garland to Krishna's Kaviraj Gosvāmī. And that was a confirmation that even the Supreme Lord gave his blessings for Krishna's Kaviraj Gosvāmī to write the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And so that's how Krishna's Kaviraj Gosvāmī, even though he was more than 90 years old, as he himself writes, I'm old, invalid, as I'm trying to write, my hands are shivering. I don't know how I'll be able to write. But it's only by the mercy of the Vaishnavas that this will be possible. That's how a Vaishnava is always feeling dependent on the mercy of the Lord and the Vaishnavas to do service. A Vaishnava never thinks himself independent. He's never proud. And as we know, Krishna's Kaviraj Gosvāmī, epitome of humility. As he says, is lower than Jagai and Madhai. More sinful than Jagai and Madhai, lower than the worm in the stool. Anyone who takes my name loses all pious credits. Anyone can say that. But he was not just saying it, he was feeling it. And so that's the reason why that humility attracts grace and so much of empowerment. And that's how Krishna's Kaviraj Gosvāmī gave us this most amazing voluminous literature, the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And as Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, that all the literatures in the world, even if they are destroyed, but if there's Chaitanya Charitamrita, that's sufficient. And even His Divine Grace is Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, as he was traveling to America on the Jaladuta, he writes in his diary, when he got those heart attacks, he writes that how he's feeling great separation from the deities in Vrindavan, but his only solace is the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And that's how the Chaitanya Charitamrita is very dear to our acharyas. And of course, Srila Prabhupada has mercifully, as he was translating the Bhagavatam, so mercifully, Srila Prabhupada temporarily stopped his translations of Bhagavatam, and he wanted to reveal the glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the worlds. And therefore, he gave the translations and purports to Chaitanya Charitamrita. And of course, the publishing and printing was another very historical event. It was finished in 2 months. 2 months. That's another historical pastime. And of course, the translating and purporting of the Chaitanya Charitamrita ended on a day which is coming very close. Anybody knows? What? Yes, that's correct. Damodar month. But more precisely? It's good to know some history. In childhood we learn so much history, right? National history. So some ISKCON history also is good to know. So Srila Prabhupada finished his translating and purporting of the Chaitanya Charitamrita on Rama Ekadashi. Rama Ekadashi is the first Ekadashi of Kartik. Right. Coming very soon. That's on the 17th of October this year. That year, that's 1974. 10th November, Sunday, 1974. This is the day when Srila Prabhupada completed this historical translation and purporting of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And for the first time, this literature was available to people all over the world in the English language, and which subsequently was translated in so many other languages. We'll conclude, which is Holiness Giriraj Maharaj tells. So when Srila Prabhupada completed this translation of Chaitanya Charitamrita, he was at Juhu, Mumbai, Bombay at that time. And so every day Srila Prabhupada would go for his morning walk at around 6 a.m. But that particular morning, Srila Prabhupada didn't come down for his morning walk. So Giriraj Maharaj was curious, so he went to his room. He saw that Srila Prabhupada's room was locked, light was off. The servant's room beside his room, that also light off. So in a case, Giriraj Maharaj knocks on the servant's door. So he gets up, he opens the door. So Giriraj Maharaj, what happened? Why has Srila Prabhupada not come for his morning walk today? So the servant says, last night Srila Prabhupada has just finished the translations and purports to Chaitanya Charitamrita, and he is in a state of great ecstasy. That was the answer. So in any case, so Srila Prabhupada mercifully gave us the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and of course which was originally given by Srila Krishna Consciousness Gosvāmī. So we are extremely grateful to all these exalted acharyas for their causeless mercy. They are all liberated manjaris from the spiritual worlds, but they mercifully come into this material world to give us their association, to give us all these literatures. So what should we do with all these literatures? Just keep them in the bookshelf as it is? Yes. Read, study. And then not only just study, distribute, and only distribute? Apply. Yes. Apply within our own lives these teachings which the acharyas have given us, by which we can purify ourselves, transform our lives, and be able to follow in the footsteps of these Goswāmīs and ultimately please Guru and Krishna with our service. So we are extremely grateful to all these Acharyas, and on this most holy, auspicious day of their disappearance, we can beg for their mercy so as to be able to get some understanding of these transcendent literatures and get the spiritual strength to be able to understand, apply, and make progress in our devotional practices, ultimately to please them and to please the Supreme Lord, Shri Krishna. Thank you all very much. Srila Raghunātha Gosvāmī ki, Srila Raghunātha Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī ki, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Gosvāmī ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Samved Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
We offer flags. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vaishnava Thakur, Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Gaur Premanandi. Done.